record. For everybody who's on, I do want to let you know ahead of time, and I may repeat this in a few minutes, that we will be recording tonight, and really it's for training and education purposes within our community for our clients. And yet this will be treated as a confidential conversation, right? One of the core values of Pollock Properties Group is confidentiality. And when you meet with us, you'll know that we really treat each of our clients with doctor-patient style confidentiality. And so tonight, if you want to take yourself off of video and mute yourself, and I am going to ask, unless you are a speaker in the event, if you'll go ahead and mute yourself now, so that we don't run into sound issues as we go through this next 45 minutes or so together. I'd appreciate it. But just know that we're going to treat everyone with complete and total doctor-patient confidentiality. Now, if someone ever comes to you and asks you, well, how was that event? Or how is that sale going? Or how was that open house? Of course, you can talk about it all you want. But everyone in our organization knows that our immediate response would be like, well, why don't you ask them? So know that that's of utmost importance to us. And we've got 23 participants. We've got just a few more that I know will be joining us, and we are now right at 5 o'clock. So we'll jump in. We'll jump in because, like I said, I want us all to start on time. You guys, what are we doing in the middle of the night having a Zoom workshop? It's like as dark as can be out there. No, we're so grateful that you would choose to spend the next 45 minutes to hour with us getting smart about what's happening in our real estate market. And I'm going to share my screen and what you could expect from selling your home. It can be a really overwhelming process. And our goal for tonight is to provide you with an overview of what that process looks like. We are really dedicated to 3 different taglines, and they're not just taglines, it's who we are through and through as an organization. And they're on your screen right now. One is that we're high tech, high touch, and high design. And the other is our motto, care, serve, give. And we really want tonight to answer a lot of questions for you. So as the night goes through, and I'm saying night because even though it's only 5 o'clock, it feels like the middle of the night. Please put your questions in the chat. We have so many of our amazing Pollock Property Group members with us tonight, and they'll be helping with the chat board, and they'll be interjecting information. You're going to meet a lot of them tonight, and we will do most of our Q&A though at the very end of our workshop tonight. So here's what you can expect. We are going to talk a little bit about Pollock Properties Group. Then we're going to dive into the state of the real estate market. I think that's really important for you to have a good understanding of where we've been and where we are when you're in your decision-making process about potentially selling your home. Then we're going to dive into a discussion about how to best prepare your home for market. We'll touch a bit on the Pollock Properties Group marketing plan. We'll go into pricing strategies so that you have an idea of how we approach that really big, important aspect of selling your home. And then we're not going to go into everything from contract to close. Again, tonight is an overview, but we want to highlight what you need to be most aware of, because there are things that you can start preparing for ahead of time. So I'm Vanessa Pollock. That's my pre-COVID headshot, much shorter hair when I went to the hairdresser so much more often, right? As we did. But I've been so great. I am so grateful to have served the Maplewood South Orange community as a realtor for 16 years now. And our group has grown to over 16 members over the course of the last 16 years. Add us all up, we've got over 100 years of collective real estate experience. This year, we have risen to the #1 place for South Orange and Maplewood home sales. And we are so grateful to be able to serve this community, and that this community has trusted us in such an unprecedented year with the sale of their home. We really approached this year with safety first, and we have successfully listed over 55 homes now since COVID hit in March. And I can say that we are unaware of any health risk that any of our clients or community members experienced with those 55 listings because of the safety measures that we have put into place. So we're grateful that you're here with us tonight, and we're excited to tell you more about the process. So where are we right now in terms of market? Well, I would love if Kelly Lombardi and Kevin Kern from our group could speak to you now about what we're seeing in the market. Kelly? She's probably unmuting.
All right. Just wanted to thank you guys all for coming tonight. We know it's, everyone has a lot going on, parent-teacher conference week, et cetera, et cetera. So, we're here to help you in any way we can. So as Vanessa said, whether it's next month or in 10 years, we really are here to serve you. So I love data because of the story that it tells. But if you don't, and you just want to take one thing away, it is a seller's market. So that's the punchline. But sort of digging down deeper into what we're seeing in the market, this time last year, we had over 2 months worth of inventory. We now have 0.8 month of inventory. So there's not a lot of homes for sale. So the number of actives, which are the number of homes available to purchase on the market, are down 38%. That's year over year. And the number of under contract, so those are homes that have actually received an offer, that's up 8%. So down 38% actives, up 8% under contract. That's staggering, in my opinion. So we're seeing a decrease of 35% of inventory year over year, at South Orange, Maplewood. We're seeing that the sales price to list price ratio is about 104%. So that means that on average, homes in this market sell for 104% of the list price. And prices are up. They're up, 9 to 14, 15% in the region. So it's really staggering numbers. And if you're here because you're a seller, that's an opportunity. And I just want to say we're looking at this through the lens of Maplewood, South Orange, acknowledging that not everyone in this call is in the area, but most are. And we're the #1 team in this market by volume and by the number of families served. And with that said, we also serve a lot of other communities: Chatham, Verona, Montclair, Madison, Tewksbury, and there's opportunity there. So Kevin, I think you were going to talk a little bit about those other sort of that opportunity.
I am, and thank you, Kelly, and thanks for everybody coming. I for one, am not a big geek when it comes to stats, but when Kelly talks about them, I'm just enraptured by it. So the one thing that she was talking about that she explained is this, what's called this rate of absorption. And it sounds like a scientific term, but in fact it is, if we stopped selling all the home, if no other homes came on the market today, how long would it take us to sell everything that's on the market? This time last year in Maplewood, just, to be specific about that, it was 2.1 months. And as she said, right now it's 0.81 months. So it's under a month basically to sell your house, which is, like we were saying, we're finding on our team that we are selling in about a week. And I think that the biggest question that everybody, a lot of you sellers know that that's the case from the people that you've spoken to. I think that the big thing is where are you going to go? I mean, that's sort of what's weighing on everyone's mind as a seller. And not to make this a buyer's seminar, but that's a lot of people that's the big problem is where are you going to go? And so there's two things. One, like Kelly just mentioned, I was looking through the list of families that I've served this year, and I have helped some people move around in Maplewood and South Orange, but also, as she said, Tewksbury, Madison, Westfield, all the way down in Hamilton, Denville. And the reason that works for some people now is, yes, there could be some downsizers that are sort of maybe escaping to some lower tax areas. But for the most part, it's people that are realizing that woke up, within COVID, said, by not have trained today, I probably won't have to do this for the next few years, because now the way that my business is working, we've realized that it's okay if I stay home. So they're moving to Denville, they're moving to Hamilton, and that might work for you. Now, for a lot of people, they want to stay within South Orange, Maplewood, let's say, using that again as an example. Even then, it could be that you're ready to do a move up. You're ready, you had your first home, your starter home, and maybe that would sell in that $500,000 to $700,000 range. The good thing for you there is that's the hot part of our market. The less hot part of our market is sort of that move up section where it might be like 7 to $1 million. So in that way, you might be in a good spot to actually sell your home in a place where it's really hot and move up into a more of a luxury sort of spot within this market.
Yep. Or to a different town where the sale price list price ratio is not as, not like what it is here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And one other thing that we often get asked that I think is important to bring up is people, when we're at listing appointments, are often like, how do we do this? How do we sell a home and buy a home at the same time? It's really hard, especially if you have kids. And for us, the answer is like, what stresses you out more? Is it knowing you have a place to put not knowing if you have a place to put your people, or having your funds sort of tied up in a transaction? And so what we say to that is, one, a lot of people have the misconception, they think you need 20% down in order to make an offer, and you don't. That is not the case. Money is so cheap now that agents and sellers who are educated by agents understand that you can make an offer, a very strong offer, with a lower percentage down. And of course, if you have a wealthy family member, I wish I did, who's willing to, give you a short-term loan just as a backstop, just in case something happens. Sometimes we see people doing that as well.
Yep. Hey, Kevin, can you do me a favor and throw into the chat for our seller attendees the link to our market reports? So what we want to invite you all to do is, on a monthly basis, we post, and we have for years, monthly market reports for all of the key towns in our region that we serve. And it will go into inventory and list price to sale price ratio and all of the kind of data that we're talking about here in all of these towns. And you'll be able to take a look at that on a monthly basis and track it along with us. So if you don't mind throwing that in there. And Kayla, you reminded me that we have a super informative YouTube channel. And on our YouTube channel, we have information about buying and selling in the same market. And we've got all kinds of educational videos in there that are going to touch on and answer, I think, a lot of questions that some of our folks have. So if somebody can throw that in the chat as well, that'd be great. All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your insight. Next, we're going to talk about now, you've got a sense of the market, where the market is, and you now know that we're not in the business of letting people go homeless, right? We're not in the business of homelessness. We're in the business of taking care of people and homes. So with that in mind, if you then say, okay, well, where do I start on my house? That is the next step, is preparing your home for market. And we're gonna bring in Elizabeth Watson in just a moment, who is our in-house designer, stager, and listing manager. But first, what I want to just go back to is, remember at the beginning, I said that we are high tech, high touch, and high design. Now, the high design piece has been a core value, really, of our team since its inception, because what we know is that in the age of the internet and HGTV, buyers have an idea of what they are expecting from HGTV and from their online shopping experience. We know that creating a high design experience in your home creates a top dollar opportunity for you, because it turns your home into a commodity that people are going to pay top dollar for. And they will seamlessly transition from a shopping experience on Restoration Hardware onto Zillow, onto our website. So we've been very strategic over the years in making sure that we help our sellers prepare their home for market in the way that the buyers are looking for. Now, what I do want to say before we launch into this is, what's really challenging for us is the fact that your home has memories, and it's your home. And we're in the position of adjusting it into a product that we can get you top dollar for, because that's what you're hiring us for potentially. And that's, we want to get you the most money for the house. But I want, before we launch into the rest of the conversation, just to acknowledge that you have memories in your home. You've shared holidays with your family in it. You might have brought kids home from the hospital for the first time there. And this is not an easy process to go through. And so please just know that we never mean to step on our sellers' toes and discount the history and the rich memories that you have within your home. And no, we're going to do our best to honor that through the process, and yet still move forward with our goal of helping you get top dollar for it as a product. So filter it all through that we do have a heart to honor your history in the home. And with that, I would love if Elizabeth Watson would join us and tell us all about her job and how she's going to help you prepare your home for the market.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here tonight, and I'm so happy that you're here. This portion of, well, I guess it's really my, but I love what I do. I was going to say this portion of my job is what really, but I love what I do. I love getting to our sellers through what can be a really stressful season. And it's my job to try and alleviate as much stress as physically possible so that it feels kind of like it's fun. How many times I've had sellers be like, oh my gosh, I want to stay in our house now after we've staged, and it's amazing. So that's so much fun for me. So in terms of staging, going back to data, because that is really important, right? When you're spending a lot of money and when you have an investment in your home, staged homes sell 73% faster than unstaged homes and sell for up to 17% more. So this is a really key piece in the marketing and debuting of your home. As Vanessa was saying, in the age of HGTV, we really believe in showing your house and really just focusing on all the beautiful architectural details and really highlighting the beauty of your home. So staging, if you were to go with an outside firm, can often cost between $3,000 to $10,000, depending on the scale and the size of your home. As Pollock Properties Group, it's one thing that we love to do is we offer a certain amount of staging in certain and are able to stage your home as a free of charge. It is a service that we provide you, and it is, again, truly one of my favorite things that I get to do. And getting to see all of your beautiful homes is such a thrill. So what we do is really special. And In addition to not only the staging piece, preparing your home, we not only stage, but I come over and do either a Zoom walkthrough or a safe, socially distanced walkthrough, and provide you with a room by room recommendation list. So from decluttering to paint colors to light fixtures, I provide you with all the things that we would recommend you do or have done to get you top dollar. In conjunction with that, we work with some amazing contractors and amazing people that just do excellent work. In this day and age, it can be really difficult to find folks who are super reliable. And we have a super high standard in the vendors that we recommend and work with. So we can facilitate either connecting you with them or helping to be there when they're there, and really facilitate in a way that is a service to you. So in terms of things that we like to recommend, paint colors. It's amazing what a color on the wall can do to transform a space. Neutral is always better in this case. We want to expand the audience and the viewpoint, how many people are going to be drawn to your home as wide as possible. We want to cast that net as wide as possible. So a couple of colors that I love to recommend, and my our amazing Elizabeth Welch will be placing these in the chat box. Dove white is a great color. It is a really nice and fresh tone. And then we also recommend a simply white as well as a great kind of fresh white. If you're looking for something a little bit warmer, we often recommend Silver Satin by Benjamin Moore. And again, those will all be in our chat box for you. And what's great is that when I get to see your home in person, I'm able to really, if there is a gorgeous accent piece or something, we can even, really specify and customize paint color choices to highlight the architecture of your home. And then light fixtures. Elizabeth will also put those in our chat box. I have a couple of just ideas of what we often will recommend. And again, anything that we recommend, we are trying to make you top dollar. But anything we recommend, we don't want you to spend money on those things or more money than you need to. So we recommend really cost-effective pieces. And yes, it's such a thrill to find those pieces that really highlight your home. And the final piece is decluttering. And this piece is always, it's not the fun piece, but it's necessary, really, really necessary. So when we're thinking about decluttering, we're thinking about clearing off tops of surfaces, dressers, and tables. We're thinking about packing away those family pictures and personal items that really what we say is you're getting a leg up on the packing. You're doing the packing on the front end so that when you sell your home, then you are already that much farther along in the process. So that is really, it's really exciting for me to do this and to serve you through this process. And we really do have a deep respect for your home, and yet also want to provide you with the best service and get you top dollar.
Yeah. It's so great to partner with you, eDubs. Now, her name is Elizabeth Watson, EW, right? eDubs is our nickname. So y'all are officially a part of the PPG family because now you're getting to know everybody's nicknames. But partnering with eDubs is just such a value add for our sellers because she does such a fantastic job of customizing this design approach for each of our sellers, but in a really unified aesthetic that we know is on trend with what the market is asking for right now. So if you aren't following us on Instagram, I highly recommend you go to Pollock Properties Group on Instagram. You will see the connective design tissue, so to speak, amongst all of our listings. And you'll see that we have a very consistent look and feel. And that's because eDubs gets to work her magic on your behalf. And again, I don't know if it's appropriate to say, but it's kind of champagne taste beer budget, right? Because we want to keep as much money in your pocket as possible. And yet it is such an important part of the process to prepare your home for sale. Like she said, staged homes, which includes the design aspect of it, you can make up to 17% more on the sale of your home. Like, we can't allow you to not cash in on that opportunity. And so we're super excited when we get the opportunity to go over and give you a design proposal. And yeah, thank you, eDubs. You're the best. All right, let's talk about marketing here for a second. And I think it's just important for everybody to have an understanding of the marketing plan. You can see it on the screen, and I don't honestly need to go into it too much. The thing that I want everyone to know about our team, though, is that when COVID hit in March, we pivoted within 72 hours to a completely digital experience in order to keep our clients, colleagues, and community safe. And in doing that, oh shoot, I want to share a different screen, but I don't even know how I can do that right now. Somebody put our digital brochures in the chat box, please. And then folks, y'all can click on those from pollockhomes.com and take a look at them on the side. But we immediately realized that our marketing plan that we have been growing over the last 16 years needed to have an even next level digital experience, because we started getting questions like, how high are the ceilings in the basement? And when does the seller want to close? And all kinds of detail level questions that we realized if we put it on the digital brochure, we could weed out possible buyers from actually stepping foot into the home, and we could eliminate some foot traffic, keeping everyone safer, right? And so you'll see those on those digital brochures. We often now will have sellers who ask us to have buyers sign off that they have gone through all the details on the digital brochure before requesting an in-person showing. That's critical right now, where numbers are going with COVID, that we keep you safe. And I want to give you a case study. In April, when it was really scary, we had a listing come on the market with a digital brochure, and we got an over asking offer, sight unseen, within 24 hours of hitting the market based on the information within the digital brochure. Now, at that time, we were unsure if they would still feel the same way after they saw the house. So the sellers said, I'm very confident in allowing them in the home. I feel safe. Let's proceed. So we asked them to see the house in person. We actually ended up with 6 showings that weekend on this property, and we received 3 offers. That's a 50% showing to offer ratio. I mean, what seller wouldn't take that all day long? And I think that that was in large part to how robust the information was online, that honestly, so many buyers didn't need to step foot in the house. They had the information. So we were able to way exceed our sellers' expectation from a pricing standpoint, and keep everyone safe in the meantime. We'd love to share more with you in a personal individual appointment about your home and how we would customize our marketing plan for you. But that's our overview. The one thing I guess I will also say is, in our desire to be leaders in the industry and provide the best marketing for our community possible, we now have an entire marketing department. And within our team, we now have a staff photographer and filmmaker, so that our video content and photography, 2 of his art shots you're looking at right now, are really a step above. They really evoke emotion and lifestyle. And then we have a social media manager on staff as well, who's helping to make sure that our social media reach is as beautiful and out there as it needs to be, to bring in the traffic to your home. So we're excited to have a whole marketing department now.
Hey, Vanessa, I just wanted to chime in, just because you're never going to tout yourself as much as you should. And I just want to say that nobody else does the kind of marketing that our team does that you have spearheaded, and we have this whole amazing cast of people that are helping with that. So beyond the fact that it's so unbelievable, it's also exponentially more in quality and quantity than any other team around here is doing.
Thanks, Kev. I appreciate that. We're fiercely committed to providing the absolute best service we can to this community, because every single person, no matter price point, is deserving of the highest level of service out there. And this marketing plan, if your home is a $200,000 condo or a $2 million mansion, this is the marketing plan, because this is about people, and we're going to customize and bring the highest level of service to every single person and every single home out there. Yeah, and thank you, Kev. I'm really proud of what we've built over all the years, for sure. And I'm proud that it is it's getting our sellers the results that they deserve and that we want them to have.
Not to beat a dead horse, but I just want to say, like, this is the magazine style brochure that you get, you know? I mean, it's absolutely beautiful versus a one sheet. So
yeah.
That's it.
Love that. Yeah, that's not just an MLS printout. No, it's next level for sure. All right, great. So I'd like to just talk about timing. Now, what's been interesting about 2020 is that we have seen zero seasonality. We started off at a really strong clip in first quarter. Of course, COVID slowed things down for March and April, and then we just skyrocketed in May. There's a fascinating article in the New York Times right now about what's happening in the market nationwide, and it shows an interesting picture of people lined up socially distanced in front of an open house in New Jersey. But really, when I look back at the last 16 years of serving families in this area, we've consistently seen that our sellers get the most money when they list their home from mid-January through March, or September through November. Now, you will see that homes are selling every month of the year. And again, 2020 is not a part of this standard best time of year to list. But maybe someday we go back to some sort of normal, maybe, right? So I want to give you all the information that right now, the pent-up demand is such that we have 4 new listings this week, 3 of which you'll see on the MLS and 1 that's an exclusive. And it's December, right? So that isn't tracking with this slide. And yet, if you're thinking long-term that this is a 2-year plan or a 3-year plan, I do believe eventually we will go back to this kind of timing, January through March. Now, why September to November? We actually find that a lot of buyers who enter the market a little late in spring, say they enter April or May, and they're not able to find or get a house because of multiple offers, they will roll over into a fall market. And yet most sellers aren't thinking about fall as an advantageous time of year to come on the market. But we're here to tell you that fall is a fantastic time to list your house. And we see our sellers get the same, if not more, for their home as they would have listed in the January to March timeframe. So it is year round. And yet these are 2 quarters that you can really focus on in the future if you are thinking long term. Now, you decide you want to come on the market. Like, how long does this take, right? Like, what does that timing look like? So look, we can get your house on the market in a week. We can take years, right? And we are, after 16 years of serving this community, we are here for you, even if it's 10 years away, right? We want to help you make smart long-term decisions. But if you do come to the point where you say, okay, it's time to go, we need to take the time for EDUBs to give you the design proposal, for you to execute that plan with our help in bringing in the contractors to do that. And then staging and photography will happen, and we will go live within probably 72 hours after taking your pictures on the MLS, really within a week. Then what does your week on the market look like? Well, if we're coming live to the MLS, which that's the multiple listing service where we post your home for sale, as well as dozens and dozens more. We will start showings on a Thursday morning. We will debut your home to all the agents in our region with what we call a broker open house so that they can come preview your home and see if it's the right fit for their clients. Then we'll begin showings all day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with open houses open to the public on Saturday and Sunday, as well as currently Zoom open houses. Again, this is about safety, keeping you safe. And so we can do as many Zoom open houses as you want and or as few, and same with the actual in-person open houses. We will customize this timing. We will customize the showing to your comfort level and your safety concerns and desires. So just know that Thursday through Sunday is our normal timeline for that. And then this year, 85% of our listings have received multiple offers in the first weekend. And we have established a timeline for offers to be due on Tuesdays at noon. Why Tuesdays? Well, we want to give buyers the business day on Monday to really make a smart decision, to be very thoughtful about what they want to offer for your house, and to present their offer with an updated pre-approval. And Monday gives them time to talk to their lender and get all their paperwork in line in order to do that. Now, that's the timeline, but let's back up a second. How did we price your house? How did we know what to price it at? I'm excited to have Denise Payne with us, who's going to talk about our pricing strategy and philosophy at Pollock Properties Group. So Denise, welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here with you and see faces tonight. I just want to quickly talk about pricing. Well, first, I just want to circle back to Leslie's question about how do you buy and sell in this market. And please look at the spackle all over my ceiling, because you buy a fixer-upper. Just a quick, this plant is hiding how much of a fixer-upper this is. So pricing is interesting. I think for a lot of people and a lot of sellers, it's what they stress about the most or they think about the most. And what I want to free you of is it really is not the most important thing. I understand why it's extremely important. And yet what you've heard Elizabeth talk about, the design proposal aspect, and Vanessa speaking into the marketing, I think a lot of sellers don't realize that that is absolutely the most important part. How you prepare your home, what we do to get it on the market, and then our marketing plan, which is just extreme. We're spreading a wide net around this whole area, Brooklyn, New York City, Hoboken. You know, there's so many buyers that are hearing about your home through our marketing plan. So as far as pricing, I want to speak into it, how our team handles it, and it's different for every agent. I only know how we do it, and I'm very lucky that way. Our pricing is a strategy. It is not a set amount. I will come into a seller's home and I will look around and I will then pour over the data of the most comparable homes in the area, basing that on location, on size, on finishes. And just so you know, there are no two houses that are exactly alike. So finding comps can be tricky, and yet we really want to look at how the market is handling the most recent sales. And we want to think like an appraiser. Because one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is when you price your home, you have to be legally willing to accept that amount. So if we underprice you on purpose, which we will never do, and then you get a full price offer and really you thought, oh, I wanted so much more than that, then we've falsely advertised your home. So something I want you to know is that we do not purposely underprice a home. We do not subscribe to that philosophy, because that is your biggest commodity. It is extremely important that you meet your goals. Obviously, we love when there are multiple offers and you get more than your asking price, and that's ideal. But really, we want to pour over the data so we can find that reasonable window where we think the data is really telling us your pricing is. And it's really data. Our team is just so obsessed with it. So really, when I do a price opinion, I show the low end, And a lot of my sellers will say, Denise, you know, I have to sell this first weekend. It's really important. So then maybe we do price towards that number. And then there's the high end of the window. And I say, you know, I think if you do everything on that design plan that Elizabeth gave you, we can probably price up there. And, you know, the lucky thing about the team is it is a formula, and we are so obsessed with getting it prepped for you so beautifully that often we can price on the higher end than a lot of other sellers with similar homes, because we just are preparing and marketing you so well. So we do not underprice. We also avoid overpricing, you know, and I'm talking like really overpricing. Why we do that is because, you know, if we've been on the market a few weeks and we feel like we're not getting a response, then price reductions are chunky. You know, they're not 5,000, 10,000. So that's why we really want to price appropriately. And, you know, the goal is to always maybe get you that 104%, which we've been lucky enough to get for the sellers overall this year. And then the other thing is, what I found in this COVID season is list price to sale price is very different. You know, you're listing here and then you're seeing maybe your neighbor get a little bit over. So finding that place where maybe we're not pricing as high as that neighbor sold for, because, you know, if you're listing for 500 and selling for 600, you know, psychologically, if you had priced at 600, you may not have gotten it. That's just the way it works in real estate. So it's finding that place where it's realistic. And yet, you know, obviously in a seller's market, everybody's hope is that they're going to really profit. And lastly, what I want to tell you is it's a group effort with our team. When I meet with a seller, everybody's selling for different reasons. Everybody has different goals. And I want to work with them on finding the price that is most helpful. And we're just here to really help you through that and help you over that hurdle, because we want it to be smooth sailing for you. We want you to be highly successful. And we're not here to say, this is your price. We're here to say, let's make this work for you. And let's help you to be really as financially successful as humanly possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dee. You know, it's interesting. We've talked about this as a team for years now, that we will never roll the dice with our clients' money. We will never list your house at a price that's unacceptable to hitting your family's goals and say, well, let's see what happens. We'll never be that cavalier with your money, ever. And we also don't want you to leave any money on the table. So as Denise mentioned, this year, our sellers have been receiving about 4% above their asking price. And what's interesting is we have been pricing our homes slightly higher than the data would indicate. We would typically go in the mid-range of that data, but now we're saying, you know what, there's so much demand, let's price slightly higher. And we're just thrilled for our sellers because we're already starting at a higher list price, and then they're getting an average of 4% more. So thank you, Dee, you're awesome. Appreciate you being here. And stick around for Q&A because I'm sure there will be some. Thank you. All right, now I just want to reiterate how we work. I hope you're getting the sense of that this is a group of helping hands who are here to help you through this process, beginning, middle, end, and beyond. So it's very purposeful how we prepare your home, how we market your home, how we price your home. And then that purposeful spirit and positivity continues from the time you get those offers on your home all the way to the closing. So there's important things that happen from contract to close. And I'm excited to bring in your closing team here with Terry and Brad, who are going to touch base on the high level events that will happen from contract to close, and just kind of give you a heads up of what you need to be prepared for that. Terry, thanks for being here.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our informational soiree this evening. My role on the team is closing manager, and as such, I'll be helping you from contract to close. So you've marketed your home. What's next? Well, congratulations. You've just accepted an offer, and I will send that offer to your attorney and the buyer's attorney so that attorney review can begin. If you don't have an attorney picked out, we can help you with that. We've got resources for contractors and attorneys and anything you might need. So feel free to reach out. So once attorney review is over, and that can take anything from a day to several days, you're under contract, and there's the home inspection process. And that can be daunting for sellers. It can be overwhelming to see those lists of requests, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. So that's where we will step in and we'll help you. So negotiate and navigate those inspection requests. And once that piece is over, and that probably is the biggest hurdle for homeowners, my role is to make sure that the buyers stick to their contingency dates. We make sure their second deposit is in, that their mortgage commitment comes in on time, and we navigate all those different negotiations that go on so that you can kind of, we want to take that load off you so that you can get on with your lives and packing up and getting ready to move on with the next stage of your life. Then we're getting towards closing. We have the pre-closing walkthrough, and then you've closed. And so our role is to just hold your hand and get you through these different stages. And one of the stages is required in New Jersey is the certificate of occupancy. And Brad, who's our inspection coordinator, will speak more to that.
Yeah, so thanks, Terry. The certificate of occupancy is a relatively simple process, but it is super important because we can't close until we have that process complete. And the CO is basically the township's opportunity to make sure your home is up to code, occupancy-wise and fire safety-wise. Now, while it's the homeowner's responsibility to obtain this CO, we are here to help you through this process. Now, each town is different. They all require an application or two, and an inspection or two. And building and fire safety codes, they change all the time. They change like the weather. And even if you bought the house in the last 2 years, chances are the rules have changed, but we stay on top of it to make sure that process goes through as smooth as possible. Now, we don't want to wait till the last minute, so we get ahead of this process early. Typically, while we're staging or during the broker's open, someone will come through and assess what is needed in order to pass these hurdles. We'll most likely need to change out some, if not all, of your smoke and CO and carbon monoxide detectors, and install a new fire extinguisher. And then once we go under contract and have buyer's info, we help you submit all that paperwork. Now, like I said, it's a small piece of that puzzle, but it's very, very important to have that all wrapped up before it delays closing. And we're here to help you with that process.
Awesome. Amazing. You guys are such helping hands. And I know our sellers are so grateful for everything that you do to walk them through the process. And I guess I want to just reiterate, when you work with our group, you get to work with all of these people, right? And it's just, it was my desire to bring the best service to our clients possible. And there's no way that one person can do all of these things. And so what you've witnessed tonight is a group of unbelievable people with huge servant hearts who are experts in their part of the process, all coming together to create, teamwork that makes the dream work. So thanks, Terry and Brad, so much for all that you do. And there's so many more people on Pollock Properties Group other than who you got to see tonight. So just know that there's an army of people here to help and to work for you. Now, if you've been in our area for any period of time, you know that we are a generosity-based business. Not only do we care about your needs, and provide the best service in the real estate industry, but we also want to make an impact with our giving. So when you sell a home with us, I am sorry, But I'm not sorry. You're not going to get a bottle of champagne from us. We instead are going to make a donation through closingforacause.org to the charity of your choice. And we're really fiercely committed to giving back both locally and globally. And the other way that we give back consistently now for over 6 years is through the Vanessa Pollock Music Initiative with the Achieve Foundation, in order to make sure that kids in our school district have access to music instruments so that they can participate in band and orchestra if they otherwise financially would not have been able to. And you are invited, and I'm putting this in before the Q&A, before anybody drops out, you are invited to our live stream concert event on December 19th, where we will be having an incredible holiday concert and be asking for people to just join us as a community that night. And hopefully we can raise some money to be sure that we're able to fund all the instrument rentals that are needed for this school year. And the need is greater than ever. So with that in mind, we're going to go into our Q&A. And again, we will keep this completely confidential. So if you put it in the chat, Kevin, I think you're going to start asking us some questions here soon. Don't worry about mentioning any names, and we'll leave it as just a generic question coming from the crowd, and you'll let us know who on the group should be answering it, please.
Well, I'm going to lead you in because you're already sort of talking about it. But the first question is, how did you come up with your motto? And I think that they're asking about Care, Serve, Give, but maybe they're also asking about the high touch, high design.
High touch, high design.
High tech, high touch, high design, exactly.
Well, Care, Serve, Give has been our mission we launched that about 6 years ago. And it really, we wanted to let people know what we stood for and what they could count on from us consistently as people, as service providers. And when we really boiled it down, we wanted people to know that we would always put their interest before our own. People first is how we care about you. Serve is that, we do provide the best service in the real estate industry, and we love to serve our community. And then give really is our heart to make an impact with our contributions, both financially and in terms of time and resources, and to inspire generosity in our community. So we've got all kinds of Care, Serve swag, Care, Serve, Give swag. If people want to reach out and let us know if they want a sweatshirt or a hat, we can make that happen. Keep the message going.
This next question, I'm going to put one of our ACE agents, Sherry Greenman. I'm going to put her on the spot here. Sherry has lived in South Orange for a long time. She's lived all over the place. She currently lives in West Orange. So someone was asking about, what kind of the market is like in West Orange. And we do sell quite a few houses in West Orange, and with our sellers and our buyers. So Sherry, what are you seeing, recently as compared to, say, Maplewood, South Orange? How's West Orange going?
You're muted. Hey, Sherry, you're muted, hun. I think we're doing a good job lip reading, though. Go ahead.
Okay, here I am. Hi, everybody. Yes, West Orange. So the thing with West Orange is that because it's such a large community, unlike South Orange and Maplewood, there is a lot more inventory in which to choose from. So not only do you have a better selection of homes, but there is a large selection in a lot of different price ranges. And that gives people an opportunity to get in. That being said, just like everywhere else, it is a seller's market. So people are really taking advantage now of putting their homes up on the market and getting top price. So it's a great opportunity if anybody's looking to sell in West Orange for them to get on the market, because we're seeing a lot of multiple bids, just like in South Orange, Maplewood, and Montclair, and everywhere else. But a lot of people are coming to West Orange when they get knocked out of South Orange and Maplewood and Montclair, and they're finding fabulous homes with more land and more house for the money. So it's a great alternative for anybody, you know, who even still has to get into Manhattan. We have jitneys all over. They've expanded their jitney routes, and really basically it's in every neighborhood that you can want. And also they do have a park and ride where you can park your car in a garage and just hop on a direct bus to the city if you want. So there's a lot of different options, and we love it.
It's interesting because in West Orange, you know, it's funny. We were talking about buying and selling in the same market, and there was another question about if we could just expound on that a little bit more. But you know, in somewhere like West Orange, because it's so big and there are sort of different sections and different kinds of places, you really could, you know, sell your place, let's say in the Gregory section, and maybe find a value in a different area of West Orange.
Oh, for sure. So the reason people like the Gregory section is because it's so close to South Orange and it has the jitney right into the South Orange train station. So there's a lot of spillover in that section from people who, you know, who just keep getting knocked out of South Orange and Maplewood, and they find the same kind of community right there, you know, right next to it. And then if you expand out into West Orange, you get more of a suburban feel with more land, more backyard. You could be near a golf course. So,
and you downsized into West Orange.
Oh, for sure. I downsized twice in West Orange.
Yeah.
Townhome. And then now we're in a little cottage. So we just love it. It's,
Vanessa,
it's just accessible. It's still accessible to everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we go to Montclair for dinner. We go to Maplewood, South Orange. We go to West Orange. West Orange has so much to offer. They have the Turtleback Zoo there. They have that whole recreational complex, which is amazing. I could go on 15 minutes about that alone. So yeah, I think it's an under the radar town that could really check a lot of boxes for a lot of people.
I agree. I love West Orange. Vanessa, if you know, Kelly and I sort of talked about the buying and selling in the same market. And I think that this is something that everybody would really want to think about, selling and then buying in the same market.
It seems like a difficult needle to thread, right? And so really it comes down to a question of what do you feel like, and Kelly touched on this, what brings you the most stress? Not knowing how much money you're going to get for your house, or not knowing what house you're going to go live in? Excuse me. And we can strategize a plan for you based on the answer to that, because really our job is to help you and to mitigate your stress as much as we can. So the plan would be, if you said, I need to know I'm getting top dollar for my house, then great. We would list you early in first quarter of 2021 and ask for an extended close date, so that then you would have a few months to go out and find the next house based on your sale price. Versus the other option is you get your home ready, we take your pictures, and we sit on your marketing plan waiting for the perfect house to come on the market. When you find that perfect house and you say, okay, this is the one, this is worth moving for, then we go secure that home and we've got your house on the market within 48 hours, because you know that you're getting your dream house. So it really does depend on, you know, what the priority is, top dollar or clarity of where you're going. But it's such a great opportunity. And if people want to reference the market reports, Kevin, you just this year helped a family sell and buy, and they sold in South Orange and they bought out in Chatham. And without, you know, saying names or addresses, we listed their home in South Orange for $799, right? And they accepted an offer of, drum roll please, $951, right? And they moved out to, I'm sorry, was
Madison.
it Madison?
They
Yeah,
moved to Madison.
Madison, and they paid $999 for their new home. So
Yeah.
they sold at 951 and they got twice the house a little further out at 999. So taking a look at cross-referencing those towns, like which towns are super hot and which towns have a bit more opportunity that maybe they're not trading as quickly and their prices aren't going quite as aggressively high, that might be the move to make. And I know that we have to factor in schools for kids and commutes and all kinds of things, but that's just one example of how that played out this year.
There's another thing that that I took advantage of when I just sold, and I was going to say there a few of us have just sold recently, and Vanessa had sold her house, I had sold my house, we'd both moved. And we said we need to do that every few years just to remind ourselves how horrible this is. Like, why would we ever make people do this? It's terrible.
It gives me so much empathy. Yeah, we sold our home in January, closed in March. We moved into our fixer-upper on March 21st, shelter-in-place day for New Jersey. And oh my gosh, the stress. And yet it gave me so much empathy for what our clients are going through.
But what?
Well, hold on real quick.
Oh, sorry.
You know that it's 5:58. For anyone who needed to leave, I understand completely. With permission, we'll keep going and people feel free to leave whenever they need to. And I know that some of the realtors on our team have appointments after this. So y'all have been amazing. And if you need to go, we completely thank you for your time and for what you do for our sellers. And we'll understand if you guys bounce off the Zoom. Okay, Kev, what were you about to say?
I was going to say, when I bought my place, we actually bought it with 5% down.
Yeah.
And a few of my clients have done that. And one of the other things one of my clients did this year is and Matt Keene from Guaranteed Rate is a great friend of our team. And if anybody, needed someone, we get nothing out of it other than the fact that he is just so spectacular in every way. He's also a volunteer fireman, and I mean, he's like kind of ridiculous.
He's care, serve, give in like the truest form, and why he's our preferred lender for sure.
One of the things that one of my clients is doing is what's called an 80-10-10 loan, and it's where you finance 80% of it, you bring 10% as a down payment, and then you get the other 10% by getting like a HELOC. So
it's a home equity line of credit. Yep. Yeah. And then so when you sell, you can pay it off.
A big loan, a mini loan, and then 10%. So there's a way to do that as well, that you don't have to get like a bridge loan or something like that. And as Kelly was saying, money is so inexpensive, the money's cheap right now. So it's something that also you could take advantage of.
Yep.
I think that is probably it. There was one more. Hold on one sec. There was one more question, and maybe E-Dubs, if you could kind of talk about this a little bit more, just about typically how long a seller should expect to spend on getting ready to list phase for a house that's in good but lived in shape, as all of our houses.
Yeah, I think that the question said how much or maybe I can answer both though, but I did.
It's how long should it take? And then that's a good question, is how much do people typically spend is a great question.
That's great. Those are both great questions. And I did put a little bit of information in the chat box as well. Hopefully I wasn't too distracting. I couldn't figure out how to turn the camera off to do the chat. So if you saw my ceiling, I apologize. Yeah, so I think that generally, if you figure that a room costs around $300 to paint, typically, depending on how many rooms need to be painted, you can calculate that. Light fixtures we pick generally cost depending on the size and scale, between $50 to $200. Again, depending on how many need to be changed. It really is a very customizable thing. And one thing that I say to our sellers is that I provide you with everything, every single thing from, like I said, from light fixtures, paint colors, literally from like removing this one picture from the wall, because I feel like it's my job to provide you with every single thing that we know and we've in our experience provides you with the ability to get top dollar. Do you have to do 100% of that list? Absolutely not. We also understand that we all are being pulled in a million different directions and maybe can't do everything. And guess what? That's okay. We will support you and still execute an incredibly robust marketing plan, no matter if you're able to execute the plan at 100% or at 50%. Obviously, we would encourage you, to do as much as you can, because we know that it does really affect the value of your home, and how the market responds to your home. But again, with like Vanessa said, in terms of priority and where you need to, if you need to sell to, when we were talking about mortgages and things like that, this also priority here, depending on if you have or want to spend money on your current home, or you just want to have it as is, and you want to move on. We will do whatever, and advise you on pricing with that as well. One thing that I think is so special about our team, and this is a diverging thing, but I will say this, that I love, is that no matter what, and I think I've said before, is that no matter the price point of your home, every home, we have a motto that all homes are special, all of our clients are worthy, and every single sale makes a difference. So it doesn't matter, if you're able to execute our plan at 100% or not, we will still represent you in our way. So with that being said, it can sometimes range, I would say, on the low end price point, between $2,000 and $5,000 to prepare your home, depending on what needs to be done. Obviously, that could go in either direction. And in terms of time, I think that really depends on your life as the seller, what you're able to do. If you're working from home and you're able to work every night after work and getting things done, or if you only have, a limited amount of hours. I think it really does depend on what works for your family. It's really, this world in COVID is so different than what we've ever lived in so many different ways. But preparing your home, it's really different, because we're living in our homes in such a different and expanded way. Every single person in our family is home 24/7. So we also understand that it might look a little bit different now than it did 9 months ago. So timing, it's really, I think, is kind of how we like to do it is we like to reverse engineer. So we would reverse engineer your timing by setting whatever that date is that you'd like to list and like to see your home go on the market. And then we would build out a timeline for you based on that. So.
And can I also chime in? That's the ideal way to do it, the reverse engineering. But we've also had clients who were not planning to sell, see their dream home, make an offer, and then list. We help them list 3 days later. So we can do that. Or we also have families where we're in relationship with them for years, helping them prep their home for market.
Yep. Yeah.
And
there was one question in there privately, and it's kind of along these lines, just asking, do we see that people have to rent in between the two houses? And so I know that's not so much about the preparation, but it is back to the buying and selling in the same market. And I'm trying, agents, chime in and let me know, how many of your clients have had to rent in between closings, or I feel like the majority of our people, we've been able to thread that needle and either get them what's called a use and occupancy, where you get to still use and occupy your home for a few days, even after the closing, or we've been able to facilitate closings on the same day, so that you're moving out. You might be sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor one night, or choose to stay with your pod friend family around the corner. But we haven't. Has anybody had anybody have to rent long term in between?
It's funny. There's been a lot more open mind to rental this year, and with my clients at least. And I don't know if that's just because this year is such a mess that people are more adaptable and more open-minded. I know in the past, most people prefer to do use and occupancy and try to work it out, the close dates for both. But I think right now it's such a seller's market. A lot of sellers want to know what they're going to get. They know it's low inventory. They're willing to stay. And there's a lot of places that are short term. You know, you can get 3 months, you can get month to month, and that's an option. And then they know they have the funds in their account, and then they have all the time in the world to really find that forever home, dream home. Yeah, along with pools and offices, rentals are more common these days.
That's right. That's right. And we've got a long list of short-term rental options that we're, happy to provide. And again, I'll say it, we are not in the job of homelessness. We are going to help you bridge that gap in between and be sure that we've got a safe spot for you in between.
It seems like we've answered all the questions. If anybody else has anything, you can either chime in or you can write some more stuff on there.
If I could just take a moment and share gratitude with Vanessa and the team. Vanessa, we've known each other for a number of years now, and it's great to be able to see the team and get introduced to the people that you've spoken about over time. This was of such great value to me as an agent down here in Florida, and I just love your giving attitude. So I'm just grateful for what you've given me, and also so excited for the sellers and the buyers that are on this call, knowing what good hands they're in. Keller Williams has, it's the largest real estate franchise brokerage by agent count in the world, 180,000 agents. And you have the privilege and the honor to work with Vanessa and her team, who is at the highest echelon, not just of professionalism and experience with regard to buying and selling your home, but of true caring, serving, and giving to you first and foremost, and to the community. She's just a wonderful, wonderful heart. So I appreciate you and everything that you're doing. So thank you.
Scott, will you please come to all of our seller workshops forever? I love you. Thank you so much for that. It means the
You're
world
welcome.
to me that you were here and that you found it valuable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy holidays.
You too, hon.
I have told Elizabeth this, but after seeing this workshop today that you had, if I were to move to your area, there is no other company, no other group that I would work with. You guys are tremendous.
Thank you so much for that feedback. We are so grateful to get to serve this community, and your feedback means the world to us. So thank you.
I will jump in there. I'm actually working on the team primarily with buyers, and just going off what Rudy said there, speaking to other agents when I'm out in the field, the amount of times they've said to me recently, can your team please list some more homes? Because they know that although it's a competitive market for buyers, at least their buyers get to see really great homes, great potential out there, even if it's a competitive market. I was hosting an open house in Bloomfield a couple of months back, and some clients came up and I was asking where they were from. They're from Brooklyn. And I said, are you seeing anything else today? And they said, oh yeah, we're seeing one in West Orange. Now, if you're not local, like the geography of where we were in Bloomfield to where this one house was in West Orange, they ain't close. They're not close at all. And I was like, how interesting. That's one of our listings as well. One of the two, like they visited the two listings that we had, and they just said, oh, we just really liked the look of them. And, you know, Elizabeth is never going to toot her own horn, so I'm going to toot it for her. It's because of the design work that she did. And if you look at that link that I put in there, the Pollock Homes, I'll put it in again in a second, and you look through each of those digital brochures, you'll see that it's so cohesive. And there really is a kind of a league of its own aesthetic that this team is able to accomplish.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
I just want to say that I've been in the area for 10 years, and I've known Vanessa, and I've known a lot of the people on this team, and I just recently joined the team. I've sent so many people to Vanessa, to the team. I've recommended them tons of times in my 10 years here. And then I joined the team, and I saw how the sausage gets made, and I can say now there is no other choice. There is no other choice for an agent to go to, because this team is really incredible. Seeing what they do, seeing how they care, seeing all the detail that goes into it. So even though I work for them now, I'm a part of the team, I can say it's really, really great. So you're in incredible hands.
You're awesome. I need to tell our clients right now that none of that was planned. Um, we do have a culture on the team. Every week we have a team meeting, and we start off our meeting with what we call bucket filling. That if you were a bucket, we would want to fill you with compliments, right? And so I just appreciate how our team members brought our bucket filling to our seller workshop tonight. And now I want to fill the bucket of everyone who came tonight to learn. I hope that this was a helpful overview of what the process entails. I hope that you will look back and still have a ton of questions. Of course you will, because every home is so unique and every circumstance and client is special and unique and has a different goal than anyone else. But I hope you'll know that you have helping hands here, that we're here to guide you through the process, through our high-tech technology. Hey, look, we're on Zoom. High touch, meaning we will be in touch with you all of the time, texting, emailing, calling, sending you videos, and then obviously high design. I hope that you see that we're here to help you through the process every step of the way. It was something that we say on a regular basis, that selling a home is like eating an elephant. You would never eat it all at one sitting, right? So we're here to help you eat the elephant one bite at a time, one day at a time, and let you know that what's coming next, and really feed it to you along the way. So again, we're so grateful that you are here tonight. Please reach out to us. Vanessa Pollock at kw.com is my email. You're invited to go to pollockpropertiesgroup.com, where we're doing a big website refresh, and no one is up to date on the team page yet. So we have new headshots and bios coming next week. So don't look at it till next week, but our contact information is there. We'd love to hear from you, and we would love the opportunity to meet with you safely on Zoom or in person to talk through your goals, what your timing needs to be for your family, give you that specific design plan for your home, and then be here to help you every step of the way. And my last plug, again, is for Home for the Holidays. Join us on December 19th at 7 o'clock for our live stream concert event to fundraise for music education in the Maplewood South Orange School District. Go to Pollock Properties Group, RSVP.com, and join us. Thank you, Don Darrell, for putting the link in the chat. We'd love to have you reserve your seats. Your seats are on your couch, but reserve them anyway so you can get the link for the live stream. We're excited to all be together that night, fundraising for the kids in our community. So